Hey everybody, Invisiblekatana here, and today I'm celebrating the 30th anniversary of PlayStation. Unfortunately, we're talking about Concord, and all of the unfortunate decisions that Sony has made recently, in the past couple years, honestly, with their free-to-play, that's what comes to mind, because that's what the decision should have been, but their live service games, that's the new term that we've come to have, unfortunately, in the gaming world. Live service games, that's what everyone wants to do, and Sony has really been pushing it. They've done it. They've pushed it clearly over the edge. So of course, everyone's been talking about Concord. And I was like, you know what's funny? We haven't talked about foamstars in a long time. Foamstars is going free to play October 4th. That game still exists. It's going free to play soon. Remember Destruction? What is it? All Stars Destruction. That game, it was like a launch title. For some reason, I think at the time it cost like $40, but it was like, hey, if you get it at this point, you can get it for free and then you have to pay later. And if you have it on PS Plus, you just have it in general. It's one of those games. So I have that game because I had it was before I even had a PS5, which is a random fun fact. If for whatever reason you're watching this and you don't have a PS5 yet, if you have PS Plus, go on the website. You can get all of the PS Plus, like PS5 games. You can download all those games for free, at least attach them to your account. Just go to the actual like Sony website and you can just get those games. So that's just a random bit of news because that's what I ended up doing. So for months, I was downloading like all the, like, here's the PS5 game of this month. I got all those games for free and I didn't get a PS5 for like 7 or 8 months until after it actually came out. So if you still have a PS4, there you go. Just a very random thing. Or if you're traveling, any random thing, just go on the website. You can download the games there and then they're already locked to your account. Then you can just download them once you finally, open up your PS5. So wanted to put that out there because once I learned that, I was like, oh, I'm literally getting extra games that I didn't think were even possible to get. You don't have to have the PS5 to get the PS5 games. Just attach them to your account. So hope that helped somebody. But getting to the unfortunate news and the unprecedented failure that we have seen with Concord. 9 days, if I'm not mistaken. The game was out for 9 days. It failed so hard. They're like, yep, we're shutting down. At this point, it's already been shut down. I think it was a day or 2 days ago at this of me filming that it was shut down officially. The servers were gone and it was like, all right, we'll see what happens. They were exploring their options, which means free to play, of course. Who knows what that means? As far as like, success wise, who knows what that really means, but it's going to be the only option is free to play. They can't come back and be like, well, we're only going to charge you $10 this time. It's like, it's either free or it's nothing. Like, don't bring it back. If anything, here's something, you know what? Since I have this very minute platform, 1 or 2 people, you guys might see this. You know who honestly, truly deserves to be bought by Sony as a live service game that gets supported? Rumbleverse. I missed that game. I just wanted to randomly do that. I didn't plan on doing that, but it just popped in my head. I loved Rumbleverse. It was effing amazing. And it died after like 3 months. It really sucked that happened. That was the only one I ever cared about as far as like, it's a battle royale wrestling fighting game. If you like fighting games, like actual, like you're into fighting games, that was the one. That was it. And it was a battle royale wrestler. That's what Sony should support. That game's effing amazing. That game really needed the support because it deserved it. But instead we got Concord, 8 years of Concord for 9 days. And that is absolutely insane. It's very sad too, but it's also just like, this is crazy. It's not just, oh, it's, because there are so many different things where it's like, oh, it's the designs of the characters and it's like, oh, it's woke and inclusion and this and that. The game is in a flooded market and it didn't appeal. The only person at all that I was attached to through that game was that dude that liked the hot sauce, the lizard looking guy, because I like spicy stuff. So when I first saw that trailer, I was like, I can connect to that guy. I love spicy food. It's not gonna make me play the game. And that was when I thought it was gonna be free. And then it was $40. And then it failed. The open beta, we had like a couple hundred people. They sold in total 25,000 copies or something like that. It's insane. It failed, and now they've issued refunds. Their servers are shut down. It'll go free to play. The servers will get shut down because it's going to fail again because people just aren't going to care. And it's interesting. It's crazy to see. And the reason I actually have Astro here, because Astrobot is, I always want to say Playroom because that was the pack-in game, but Astrobot has come out. Insane reviews. I got this physical because I was like, I got a physical just for this. So here you go. That's the flip cover. No one does that. I watched like 3 or 4 unboxings before I actually got the game and nobody effing flipped the cover around because I was like, I want to see what the cover looks like because I was still kind of debating. I was like, do I want to get physical or do I just want to, get the online copy? Also, hope you didn't pre-order this because all the pre-order stuff was just early unlocks, just to throw that one out there. You didn't need to pre-order the game or hit the digital deluxe. It was all in-game stuff. Didn't really say that unless you read it, but just throwing that one out there. But I just wanted to go physical just to have technically the first piece of 30th anniversary merch, because that was kind of the release of this game. Odd timing, of course. 30th anniversary, unprecedented failure, absolute success, and massive awards and acclaim for this game already, and it's only like the weekend. I haven't even played it yet, so hopefully I get to stream it. By the time you guys see this, I will either have streamed or my computer will have failed on me and I will have recorded it, because at this point I'm just going to start making content because I haven't streamed in months. So either way, I'll have played this game by the time you guys see this, and I'm sure I'll say it's amazing, because Astro's Playroom was one of the greatest gaming experiences of my life. And of course, partly as a Sony fan, because I went through the history of PlayStation, all the references and stuff were like blew my mind. And you can actually watch that. I did stream that one, so please check it out. I greatly appreciate that. But more of the same, more magic, I'm hoping. But unfortunately, Concord has failed. And beyond the Concord stuff, like the main thing is like, obviously the Concord thing is what made me want to make this video. But in all honesty, what I want to talk about really is what Sony has done. And they've done this from the beginning. They did it in the beginning as a launch title with Destruction All-Stars. When that game came out, I said the exact same thing. Oh, so it's going to be free to play, right? It makes perfect sense. That's a free to play game. Like, no, I think they only charge like 30 or 40 bucks for it. And I'm sure at this point you could probably get it on sale. And they had that weird thing, you could get it for free or whatever, but it should have been free to play from the beginning. I'm like, this should be a free game. 100%. It should be a free to play game. It's definitely in that wheelhouse where there's enough content to be like, this is good, but not enough to be like, this is $30, $40 worth of good, because it doesn't change enough. It's the same thing. Even if you're playing online and that's the element that changes, you still have to have enough within the mechanics of the game that change. You have 2 or 3 game modes. It's been forever since I played it, but you get like 2 or 3 game modes. It even has a photo mode. I love photo mode. Photo mode has literally made me interested in buying certain games that never mattered to me. I didn't give a crap about Cyberpunk. I'm dead serious when I say this. I did not care about that game until they made a photo mode trailer. 100% honesty. Not a single care in the world until photo mode. Still don't have the game, but that's because I got a huge backlog and I was like, I'll just wait. But the game has a photo mode. Like, it's weird. It was like, it's a destruction derby game. They put the effort into having a photo mode and stuff, and I'm like, free to play. Cool feature. Photo mode, it's only for me and that, my sector of the gaming community that care about that. But photo mode, that's cool. I love that. The game is really fun. It's interesting to play. It's one of like the first games, so like the haptics, they're there. It's like Astro, but free to play. 100%, it should have been free to play. Years down the line, haven't heard much about this game. It's still out there. It's still going. It hasn't been shut down. It hasn't gone free to play, which it definitely should. And then I just happened to randomly be looking last week. It was whatever sale they have going on. It might still be going on by the time you guys see this, but it was it had like some name like a crazy sale or whatever. And I just happened to see foamstars, and it was like, oh, foamstars going free to play. And I was like, holy crap, that's weird. And that had to have been like 2 days before Concord was announced it was going to shut down. It was already out. It was like 2 days before they announced that when I saw the foamstars thing, and I was like, wow, they're finally doing free to play for a game that, once again, just like Destruction All-Stars. Foamstars, oh, knockoff Splatoon, okay, that's free to play, right? And there's like, oh, it's a $40 game. How is this a $40 game? Live service. Still, typically, when you say live service, free to play. It's the weirdest thing in the world that specifically Sony has done, where they put these games out. And of course, I do have to say this, Helldivers blew up like crazy. Absolute pandemonium. Fantastic game. Like, everyone loved it. Yes, they have done it one time out of the 4 times I can think of, where it was like, hey, you pay for this game, which I think that game was also 30 bucks, and it's good. It's fun. It has enough of that value, but also it's not just a versus game. And I feel like that is where that element really comes in. I think Destruction All-Stars has the element of it being so different as it being Destruction Derby, not just like, oh, it's a shooter, it's not a hero shooter. It's very different. Foamstars, of course, is like the Splatoon knockoff. So even though it was very different from other things where it's like, oh, it's a hero shooter, it wasn't that, but it was definitely a Splatoon knockoff, which Splatoon is like one of the greatest things ever created on the history of this planet, in my personal opinion. So it was like, ooh, that's not gonna go too well for you. Free to play, because it's not, Splatoon at the very least has like the little single player stuff, even if it's not like immaculately robust. there's still some stuff there. It's single player and there's, some fun elements. This was just online. I mean, they might have added some single player stuff. I played it once when it had the beta and I was like, yeah, this kind of bores me. Like, it just didn't seem that fun. And then I got, I was done with it. And then it was like, oh, finally, last week, free to play. October 4th. It'll be interesting to see. And it's also incredibly interesting that that's just been whisper quiet. That's a month away. Didn't hear a single thing about it. And like I said, that was before the Concord stuff came out. So it was super weird that I randomly came across that and was like, oh, this is going free to play, and they didn't think to promote that, because I think you want the microtransactions. That's kind of the point of going free to play. You hope to bring more people in, and they'll pay for your costumes. They'll pay for season passes or whatever that game has that I don't know about because I didn't bother to play it. But they just silence. Like, absolutely not. I'm sure if you look it up, I'm sure it's on Twitter. Maybe so few people give a crap about Foamstars. That's why you didn't know that that was a thing. But free to play. Foamstars is going free to play October 4th. Honestly, if Destruction All-Stars went free to play, I would play it instantly. It's just fun enough for me to be like, it's free, I'll jump right back in. I really would. I genuinely believe if that game went free to play, it would be a different story. It may not be the craziest thing, especially even when it first came out as like a launch title. I still think it would have made a bit of a difference. I think it 100% would have made a difference, because you wouldn't have been paying for that game. It would have had a much bigger like initial base, and especially it being free to play, people would have played. People, of course, I'm sure would have dropped off 100%, but they haven't dropped off enough for them to say it's free to play now. It was like a launch title for the PS5, and it's still not free to play. It still exists. You don't hear a peep about that game. You don't hear anything about Foamstars, and that's going free to play. Concord was like their big, just gargantuan disaster of a thing. And it's just interesting, the steps that Sony specifically has taken in this live service journey, so to speak, where it's like they always charge you and it just doesn't work for them. Helldivers is it. And it was different. It was just a silly, fun online co-op thing. Depending on how you want to play, it doesn't have to be cooperative, but it just blew up in the way that it needed to. And maybe if, Destruction All-Stars was on PC, when that initially came out, with Helldivers being in that era of, now we're having Sony be like, hey, it's on PlayStation, it's on PC, some games a lot faster than others, sure. But I just don't know. I just don't know. Honestly, they need to reevaluate in more ways than one, because they have ideas where it's like, yeah, you have a live service game. If you go free to play, it does make a difference. It truly can make enough of a difference to keep something alive. They're keeping Destruction All-Stars alive, which, like I said, you don't remember. You didn't remember that till I said it. They're keeping Foamstars alive and making it free to play. You didn't remember that. You didn't care about that. Concord failed in 9 days, and it's probably going to come back free to play. I just don't know what Sony's doing, but they're like half a step away from just doing the most intelligent thing, which is just going free to play. They're doing stuff where it's like, hey, there are games that do less. I can tell you right now, there are 2 games I'm playing that are free to play that I absolutely love. Zenless Zone Zero, I'm like obsessed with the game. I put in like 130 something hours, and the finals. I love that game too. I even bought the season pass for the finals. I'm not spending money on Zenless Zone Zero because it's gacha. So even if you spend money on stuff, you're not guaranteed to get this, and this. So because it's so randomized, I'm like, I'm not going to pay for it. I'll just play a bunch. But the finals, I bought the season pass. I did this, same thing when Halo Infinite first came out. I bought the season pass for that. That was like the first time I ever did that, where I was like, it's just costumes. It's a first person game. Why do I care about costumes? I played it enough to be like, it's worth the money. It's worth the costume. That stopped when they gave up on that game, and I haven't played since. I haven't played in forever, but the $20 I ended up spending, I played like 5-6 seasons. I had a great time with that game. The finals, I'm really enjoying. We're gonna be hitting season 3 in like 2-3 weeks. I think they're gonna be transitioning to season 3, so I'm definitely looking forward to that, and whatever it changes and whatever the theme of that next season is gonna end up being. I don't know if it could be this one, because I'm a huge like samurai ninja person, so this was like the whole theme was like, hey, we're throwing in all the ninja samurai stuff, and you gotta level in Kyoto. So I don't know if there's gonna be another aesthetic that's gonna be different. Actually, we'd be heading into season 4. This is season 3, so we're gonna be going into season 4 for the finals, and I love that game. You pay for it, and that's the same thing. If you do like the finals, you pay the money now, and then you get all the points back. It's that sort of situation. So if you actually get through the 100 levels or whatever, you'll have enough money or points or coins to get the next one for free, basically. So you pay the $10, as long as you actually play it in time, you'll get the next one for free, and it'll just keep going like that. So if you like the finals and you were thinking about it, that is how that works. I don't know if I'd recommend it now unless you are already at like the end level and you just pay the $10 to unlock everything, but just saying, to throw that randomly out there. Sony could do that. They could have it. They're doing first party. I can't say free to play. I constantly want to say free to play because that's what it should be. Live service, because that's the thing we're doing. First party live service games. That's their push. That's everybody's big push because it's microtransactions. It's been the push for ever. Honestly, it's been the push for like a decade. When you really think about it, it started nearly 10 years ago. We've been doing it for a while. And Sony is this close to doing it right. Just make it free to play. Think of the basic concepts of what works in free to play. Rocket League has been going on for a millennia at this point, it feels like. Fall Guys is still doing some stuff. They had to jump over and do Epic Games, but they're still doing some stuff. They still have things that I still see random pop-up collaborations where it's like, hey, we got new skins in Fall Guys. I haven't played that game in a million years. I haven't played it since the pandemic, like a lot of people, I'm sure, but that's still working. That's still making it happen. Sony has it. They're pushing it first party wise, and that's the craziest part about it. First party, and they're still doing it the way that they're doing it, and they're so close to just doing it right. First off, free to play. The concepts that are there would be way more entertaining if they were free. That's just a fact of the matter. You made a hero shooter for $40, and for what? The cutscenes that they were planning on? Who cares? Who really cares? It's not like it's an actual story mode, it's just story cutscenes. Not nearly as relevant, not the same thing. A cutscene where you have two characters talk to each other on the ship is not the same as an actual story mode. Like, hey, we have to do this mission, we're going through this heist. These characters you can play in the game modes, they can be whoever you want them to be, but in the story mode, maybe these people are with this faction, these people do this, these people work for this person owns this thing. Maybe that's a plan that they have, that was a part of their year-long stretch. I don't know. It's possible. But Sony keeps doing it. And I feel like at this point is a great point to mention the fact that they've done it. This is the fourth time now with one success, because we've had it before. Obviously, the one before Concord, there was Suicide Squad. Live service game. Horrible. I got it for free on Prime. Wish that had a photo mode. No joke, I'd play the crap out of that game if it had a photo mode. It looks great. All the costumes, all that stuff. I would actually play that game if they had a photo mode in it, especially because I got it for free. But I was like, if they had a photo mode, I always said I would buy it. It would have to be really cheap, but I was always going to buy it. They could get there a couple of bucks at least. But that doesn't even have photo mode. It just sucks. It's very unfortunate. So that was our last big thing. And now we have Concord, specifically from Sony directly, not just a big publisher, from the company that makes the console. So I wanted to talk about that, especially to reference, remember Foamstars, remember Destruction All-Stars. Those still exist. Why aren't those free to play? Well, one is going free to play, but I don't know if that's going to save Foamstars. I don't know if it would at this point save Destruction All-Stars, but it might, considering that's like it's been like 5 years now. Or I guess it would be less. It would only be like 3 years at this point, but it's been a minute for that game. So if that's still going, that could easily go free to play, and I bet it would bring a lot of people back in. Foamstars, who the F knows? It's already going free to play. Maybe that's why they haven't done it for Destruction All-Stars. Maybe it actually makes just enough money to be like, we don't really have to do it. It might be boring for some people, but it's like, we still make this much money and we can just keep it running. That has to be the only reason, because otherwise it would have been shut down or it would have been free to play at this point. So it must be making just enough. It must be like right over that little threshold, and Foamstars didn't make it, so now that's going free to play. And Concord obviously wasn't going to do it at $40 effing dollars, which is still insane. $40 for a hero shooter with no real story. Like I said, the cutscenes, I understand, but that's crazy. Those cutscenes are not in a single player mode or a story driven co-op mode or anything like that. It's just some videos. There's a lot of things that are very fascinating. And of course, one thing that is worth bringing up as well, not Sony based, but Sega related, a lot of people did mention it, hyenas. Sega was like, yeah, we don't think this is going to work well enough for us as a live service game. That really sucked for me personally, because I can tell you, as someone who played Hyenas, I played it during like the closed beta and then the open beta, which I also did a stream for that. I actually liked that game. I thought it was fascinating. They even had a second level that they made that people got to play at an event before they did like the second open beta that you could actually stream. And then right after that, it was like, yeah, we're shutting this whole thing down. I was like, I didn't even get to play the second level you guys made. And they're like, we're closing all that off. So they did that. And I think that game had way more potential, but also it was live service. You got to keep putting money into it. You have to really know that there's going to be something there. And somehow Sony, they thought they knew. I'm still confused by that, where I'm like, you didn't even have a real story. You just had like vignettes popping up here and there. I just don't understand that. So that confused me, is how I guess they thought they knew. Because I'm like, Hyenas was just looking at Hyenas. If you go back and watch footage of that versus Concord, I'm like, and people said Concord was fun to play, but just visual, I'm like, there's like zero gravity stuff in Hyenas. It had an interesting concept of like, it's PvPvE, because you had to go in and steal stuff. So you would fight actual enemies, like AI enemies, but there's like 4 groups of 3, I think, running around the map. And it's like, all right, well, let's trigger the alarm while they're trying to sneak in and steal this thing, and then have them get shot up by all the AI. We'll steal the stuff they were trying to steal, and then we'll make it out. Like, there are a lot of elements to that game where I'm like, there's so much cool strategy that I don't think was ever really done in a multiplayer game. I'm sure there's some game that's PvPvE. It's almost a guarantee for a fact that there is. But in that specific genre where it's like, first person shooter style, I don't think there really was. Not that I was aware of, or still not aware of. But some games just don't make it. That's just the way it is. Sometimes you're Helldivers, sometimes you're Lawbreakers. But hey, we'll see what Sony does. It's gonna go free to play. I don't think that matters. But if they want to do Destruction All-Stars free to play, I'll play the crap out of that. Foamstars, I could not care about, but I just wanted to let you guys know that's going free to play too. Haven't seen a single announcement. No one cares enough about that for that to be brought up. And like I said, I only saw it because I was looking through the deals. So because that's a random thing that no one has really mentioned before in any of the videos I watched on Concord, just thought it was worth telling you guys. Foamstars, that's still around. That's going free to play. Fascinating. Would love to know your thoughts. Had to talk about this one. I normally don't do like gaming news videos, but this is definitely one because of the other games where it really like clicked in my head. Like, this isn't the first time they failed. It's the biggest time they failed, because they failed in 9 days. But Sony has consistently failed with like their specific games. They only succeeded with Helldivers. And I think because the other games came and went like in a snap, we all forget that stuff. Because Foamstars dropped instantaneously. All-Stars Destruction All-Stars was like 3-4 years ago at this point. You don't really think about those games. Like, once they fell, they kind of just fade off because they were here, flash in the pan type of thing. But Sony hasn't forgotten. Sony's still paying for that stuff. They might still be paying for that old God of War thing. I need to call that number. You call the Kratos number from God of War 2. That might still be up and running. But who knows? They like to pay for some stuff. We'll see what happens going forward, but I would love to know your thoughts. Like I said, Concord, the live service element as a whole, I hate it, personally speaking. It's probably, oddly enough, I thought the Battle Royale thing was going to be my least favorite, like, giant trend where, like, everyone's going to do a Battle Royale. I think Battle Royale can easily work. I think that's just the element of, like, and you just beat, like, 100 other people, 99 other people, depending on how many numbers. That can work. That can easily work. I can have fun with that. Rumbleverse was like my perfect version of that. It was a battle royale, but it was wrestling. It was hand-to-hand battle royale. Sick. That needs to come back. Seriously. Fund that, Sony. That's a much better idea. Oh, Marathon's coming out. I forgot about that. They are so screwed. Let me know what you guys think. Dang, that's crazy. I forgot all about that one. And that's upcoming. We got Astrobot. We got something. Thanks for checking this out. I would love to know your thoughts, so please put your comments down in the comment section below. And of course, thanks for watching.